Alright everybody, Baron here and welcome to the port of Narvik, Norway. This is Battlefield 5. I've got some pre-alpha footage to show you. I want to say a big thank you to EA Game Changers for making this all possible. I was flown out to Los Angeles and myself, a bunch of creators, and a bunch of my buddies got to get hands-on. Now what we're going to see is a giant airborne invasion. You can see here we're in the C-47 aircraft. We're going to be jumping out, parachuting down into hostile German-held territory. And they've got some AA guns, they've got LMGs, they're going to be shooting at us, they're going to be shooting at our planes. It's pretty cool to have this combat airdrop, because this is the kind of stuff we've done in Ravenfield and Ancient Warfare 3, but be able to do it in like a AAA title that looks as beautiful as this. Now that's not to say there weren't some hiccups or problems, but we just got boots on the ground. We're going to be moving into the objectives here as the British, and we're going to be fighting the Germans. Now, right ahead of me, some explosives. One of my other teammates grabbed it, a blueberry, because he's blue and not green. So, you know, there's that. He's not one of me squaddies. Where's me explosives, governor? But anyway, we're going to be seeing footage from both sides. Hello, that looks like a very difficult cliff. We're going to see some British invaders and then some German defense. I'm going to be shooting at planes. I'm going to be shooting people out of their parachutes. It's going to get real. We're going to do it in two halves here. Also, this was part of a grand operation that went in two phases. The first is the aerial invasion, and the second is kind of the continuing fight of the port, where the British try to push the advantage and kick the Germans out. The British get some tanks, and the Germans can get some tanks and planes a little bit later. So if you guys want to see some tank gameplay in the second phase, let me know, because it is pretty awesome. I went off. I tell you what, I love tanks. I've always loved tanks. I feel like I'm pretty good at driving tanks. I'm a tanker, and I got a 51 kill game. So if you want to see that, if you want to see more Battlefield 5, you know what to do. Pulls the trigger on the like button. Oh, what you looking at, governor? And yeah, and right now I'm actually using a German rifle. That's one of the things I don't like about this, is kind of the immersion. We're gonna be going over things I liked and things I hope are changed, or some of the things that I just didn't like. And live by the gun, you might die by it. But that guy used the Sturmgewehr 44, which is beautiful. But the one thing I don't like is, and we'll discuss this revive mechanic and bleeding out a little bit later, is that the Brits and the Germans have access to the same weapons, and I understand that's done for balance, but it does, there are trade-offs. It does affect immersion. So here we go, going back to the menu. I think that's one of my squad mates on the ground. This is cool. I didn't know what this was at first. I thought it was going to allow me to parachute, but one of my squad mates plopped this down as like a mobile spawner, which seemed pretty cool. I believe that's what it was, like a little radio set. And look at this. This is the building mechanics. And we're going to see that. You get to see that a little bit more in the second phase. So we can go over the Battlefield 5 building mechanics, if that's something you're into. Because you can build fortresses, you can build defenses. This guy needs medical assistance. Let's give him some adrenaline. Yeah, that was maybe not the best time to revive him. But yeah, I don't like that there's kind of like the lack of immersion. This bleeding out mechanic was interesting in that it's supposed to facilitate squad play. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, because right now everybody was just wanting to get in and shoot at people and see everything. Like, squad play wasn't as important as experiencing the game for the first time ever. But I do love the whole mechanics of like being able to jump out of the C-47 as a paratrooper commando, like on secret missions. This is cool stuff. And like the scenescape, like look at the background, it's gorgeous. So this is all well and good. This is pre-alpha. There were a few things that really got on my mind, like really bothered me. One was the bleeding out mechanic did get old and stale after a while, but I think it was because you rarely got revived by a teammate. I think it needs to be more visible to your squad mates. And also, like, if you had friends, look at that, we're taking flak right now, so I'm like, all right, I'm jumping out. But this is sweet. I wanted to jump later, and I wanted to jump on enemy positions, but you can see the enemy AA guns. I landed right on this camouflage netting. I've got the Gewehr 44. Or 43 rather, because I am a medic, and that was one of the weapons. There's a flak gun right there. And, dude, check this out, man. It's just like sneaking around behind enemy lines. It's like, it's a very exhilarating feeling. But, I really hope you guys asked to see more tank gameplay. But, so, I'd say that the building mechanics, there's a lot of positives and negatives to them. Hello there, mate. Ugh. He had his pistol out. I was really ashamed of my play right there. That was, I should have lived. We start out a little slow, but we end strong. And like I said, man, put me in a tank and it's game over. But yeah, those tanks, or those planes just got destroyed, so I wasn't able to drop. But I do have some squad mates parachuting in right now. I noticed that, and I decided to join in on them. And you can squad drop via parachutes if your boys are in the air, which is cool. I wonder if there's like a certain height. And look at this. These are all defenses that the other team built to protect these artillery pieces, which was our objective, was to destroy the coastal artillery so that the British could like move in force. And here I am running back for an objective. But I mean, if you just look around, it's a beautiful map. And I mean, DICE, that's what they've always been good at, is creating a beautiful, beautiful game. The interesting thing is going to be, you know, if they can make changes to Battlefield 5 from Battlefield 1 to have it, to make it have more staying power, because I think it was one of the highest selling Battlefield games. But I think, you know, they need to work on, oh man, I just love seeing the parachutes jump on. They need to work on making it so that you want to play more and more, and you want to keep playing months and months and months and a year after release. But yeah, the building mechanics were yay and nay in that, like, there's only certain places you can build defensive works, you can build your forts and things like that. You can't place them anywhere, which I get, but I almost wish, you know, I almost wish that Battlefield would go back to its roots. This is my personal opinion. And here we are, bum rushing this position. I've got the explosives, and I've got a squad and a few other teammates. So I'm gonna heal this guy, place the explosives, and we're go time. But I almost wish we were to go back to the, you know, the sandbox roots that Battlefield started in with Battlefield 1942, the first World War II Battlefield game. And now we're going back to it, and I don't know. There's the artillery piece firing. We dropped some explosives, but it seems like we need to place more unless someone just ninja defused it. I'm not sure. That wasn't very well communicated to me, or I didn't really get a feel of what's going on. It's probably that you need to have a few more explosive waves. But look at this. We're using these sandbags that were not there before, that were built by the enemy using the building mechanics against them. So now that I'm working with a team, like we get to do a lot more, and I start going off more than just getting eliminated right away. But man, watching this after playing it, like, I really get to appreciate all the subtleties and the details of it. Like, look how beautiful. This is what, like, maybe midnight or maybe just before daybreak, I'm guessing. And we're attacking this German port. Come here, mate. Potatoes. But the concept of being able to come in as a paratrooper is pretty cool. It makes me really wonder what operations are going to be like in D-Day. Like, this is World War II. You have to have a D-Day mission. It makes me wonder if there's going to be the Pacific campaign, because there was a lot of amphibious landings by both the Americans and the Japanese. You know, and then, like, I want to see water buffaloes, LVA-2s. My favorite vehicle of all World War II. But yeah, this is the thing. There's no one around me, so, like, you almost wish you could skip that if you're in an area where you don't have friend support, you don't have squad play, you don't have any chance of real survival. These sandbags around that flak gun were actually added up. So they were increased in size, which is really cool, like, to see how the battlefield can evolve. But I think, like, you need a lot of people to do it. You need to have in a lot of cases, one person, it would take them a very, very long time to build up that amount of defenses. They must have had a few people or just one dedicated person doing that for a decent amount. Yeah, I like being able to spawn on any of the planes. But I gotta play with my buddy Blitz right now. So once we were able to kind of communicate, because we were sitting next to each other, it got a little bit better. And I think I did better, like, defending against the Germans, which is going to be coming up next. I got to shoot the AA guns, and here I'm going for the explosives again, because I want to get this last Delta objective done. I was able to shoot down planes, and I was able to hit paratroopers themselves. And knock them out of the air, which it's difficult to do. So it's not like a very biased, you know, to the German defenders. And look at this, objectives, man. There's D. I hope I can pull this off. But man, I tell you what, it was fun. I think the biggest thing I didn't like, other than like the lack of immersion, was probably, ooh, almost got out of there. And there goes the objectives. Was the vehicles, the machine guns that they had. Like, it felt like you were shooting a water gun. And you know, like when you have a water gun and you're shooting and then you're running out of water and then your little stream, you know, you're like, and then boop, 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 and it turns into like a dribble. Honestly, the machine guns for the vehicles felt like that. It was ridiculous. I mean, it hurt my brain. I was just really, really disappointed with that because they need to change that. And I'm sure they did it for balance or whatever, because you could just keep firing and keep firing. But I don't know. They need to change that, or like it will drive me crazy personally. So look at this, just like these defense works, and the Germans get knocked out by my British commandos here. It's pretty cool. We had a pretty good handle here, and I try to flank around these guys, but I get taken down because he sees me. I should have stopped and fired, but I just saw like 8 people looking the other way, and I was like, I'm gonna knife them all from the back. But that's what you get. Delusions of grandeur. All right, so here we are as the German, and we're gonna be defending these objectives here. So I'm gonna mess around with, well, maybe do I not build at all? No, I'm like straight to the flat guns. All right. I did some earlier, building in like a previous session, and I don't know, I didn't feel like it was really necessary. So here I am on, I believe it's like, is this a 20mm flat gun? But dude, like shooting at the C-47s, getting these vehicle disables and then destroying them and watching them just like the engines catching fire and eventually tumbling out of the sky. Although they don't fall on the battlefield, which I gotta be honest would be a quote battlefield moment. A plane falling out of the sky and destroying people or defensive installations or buildings. I truly wish that one day we're gonna see Battlefield go back to the roots of the sandbox that I've done. But yeah, here's a German with a Bren LMG, which, you know, it's immersion, but it breaks immersion. So con to immersion, pros to balance, which I guess is cool and all. But yeah, my favorite thing was playing the tanks. So I hope you guys want to see a second video. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with that, like 51 kills in a game. Was a little bit crazy. And I got to play as all 3 of the British tanks. So now let's just go over a quick kind of overview. So this was about Narvik, right? So British paratroopers land, Germans have to defend. There's the port infantry, like there's... The second phase was really where I think we got a lot of battlefield stuff, as cool as it was to do paratrooper stuff. We got tanks and infantry. There was also planes flying overhead. And in fact, I saw a V1 buzz bomb come in out of nowhere. I don't know how people did it. But like, it's a destructive call-in, and I didn't figure out how to do that yet, which was really, really like, but when you see one coming in and destroying stuff, and you can also call in like Sturm Tigers and Churchill Crocodiles. Churchill Crocodile had a flamethrower. I saw someone get that, and I was very, very envious. But overall, the grand operations work pretty simply. Like there's 2 days, right? So it's trying to add a greater narrative to multiplayer play. And day 1 is when the Airborne comes in, and you know the British commandos are inserted into the battlefield. And it acts as a narrative driver, is what Battlefield's saying, an experience enabler. In Narvik, they wanted to showcase the feeling of paradropping in a heavily defended area by enemy forces, and it was at nighttime. And so the results matter going from day 1 to day 2. Once the dust settles and the first day is over, the result of that day matters to the start of the next one. And day 2, the number of reinforcements of all kinds depend on the outcome of day 1. So day 2, it's all about the main force landing and trying to claim ground and push the enemy out if you're the British. In the breakthrough mode, known from Battlefield 1's operations, the difference this time around is that they're going to continue to day 3 in the second level in the grand operation. And we didn't even play day 3 and day 4. Day 2 was really fun because that was where it truly felt like, you know, a classic Battlefield game in that you had infantry, you had you know, static defenses like machine guns, AA guns, stuff like that. And then you had tanks and aircraft that were all player controllable. So it was pretty cool. Now, they've said that there's gunplay improvements, like there's suppression. The goal is to apply suppression that does not conflict with the weapon, but is still tactically viable. The suppression you see in the FanFest build is still work in progress as they continue to develop. Recoil. Any form of visual recoil has been removed, interestingly, yes. And aiming down sight, as you ADS, or, you know, aiming down sight, pay attention to the following to determine how accurate or inaccurate the weapon is. Spread is converted to recoil, but the spread still exists. And weapons are relatively more accurate, although I felt, this is probably one of the balance things, but the STG-44 wasn't very powerful. But then again, they've tried to encourage headshots being more of a thing. So, you know, and you can choose firing modes between like semi-auto fire or automatic fire for the STG-44 probably. I never did that. And they've added a lot of different things. The weapons were pretty cool. But, you know, they went for kind of balance theory. So immersion was broken for me, who loves World War II. The vehicles were a lot of fun. Although, at times, they didn't feel historically based, like the Tiger tank. Its shot had a very visible arc. Like, when you shot the shell, it started dipping sooner than you'd want. It seemed like all the other things and all in the artillery pieces. You know, and it didn't... And the machine guns on those vehicles, I think, oh, they trigger me so hard right now. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let this one play out. So if you want to see more, if you want to see kind of, you know, more vehicle heavy play, let me know, and we can get that going. And we can get that to you guys soon, especially me playing as the British tanks going off. I got some German Tiger tank gameplay. I'm going to be posting some videos to Baron von Tactics as well. So make sure to check out the channel. Link's going to be in the video description. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the footage, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Objective Bertha has been armed by the enemy. Be ready.
Sanitäter!
They have destroyed Objective Bertha.
Ich sterbe! Helft mir! Oh, verdammt, tut das weh!
More of the planes arriving, Kameraden. flames is coming.
Sanitäter! Ich sterbe! Helft mir! Sanitäter!
Victory is nearly ours. Weiter, weiter.
Helft mir, verdammt nochmal!
Excellent work. We remain fortified behind our wall of artillery. We could not stop the British from landing, but we have made them pay a terrible price. Let them come. We will push them back into the sea.